Welcome back to the extraordinary life of an ordinary person. I'm going to stop numbering these and start naming them because you know what? I really wish I could be a more consistent person, and I really wish I can get shit together as it needs to be, but I'm not and I can't. So fucking whatever. So we're just call this little section here the elan years. I really don't want to talk too much about elan. As I told you last time, you're already on YouTube. Fucking YouTube elan, and you'll see some seriously fucked up shit. What I do want to talk about today is behavior modification. Now, our government has experimented for a long time, and other governments have as well, with behavior modifications, whether it's through torture or it's always torture. That's how you modify behavior. A deprivation of food or basic human rights. We're breaking a person down and removing who they are and any sense of individuality, and then building them back up in the way you want them. That's how the military works. That's how elan worked. That's how these gay conversion camps. You can't change who a person is. If a person wants to modify their behavior, they'll allow you to help them modify the behavior. But if a person doesn't want to modify their behavior, not much of what you can do can modify it without actual fucking torture, just so you know. And gay isn't a behavior. It's a person is either gay or they're not. You can't fucking change it. Mike Pence. So, bearing that in mind, elan was definitely an experience, and it did shape who I am because I really didn't mind authority before I went to elan. Like, I really was okay with listening to adults and being a good girl. My stepfather was just fucking convinced that I was the devil or something, or that he was gonna fucking teach me and change who I was. And I really was a straight A student. I really did have, good head on my shoulders. And yeah, at 14, I had some problems, man. And they all stem from, this motherfucker not believing anything I said with the rape and everything else. And he's the one who really pushed me into becoming the person I became because, he didn't believe me, didn't listen to me. I didn't have a safe environment to express myself. I was being attacked. I was being sent back to this attack. And of course I acted out. And so remember that. If your kids come to you and they have something they want to talk to you about that seems important, you fucking shut your face and you listen to your kids. The reality is, and I know you want to think because you are now an adult, you know more than your children. That's not necessarily so. I promise you at 14, I knew more about life than my parents even fucking still do to this day. My mom is still fucking clueless when it comes to life. She still doesn't understand how it works, I knew sofa set, for me in the house this week, and I invited my mom over, and then something occurred to me. I was like, you never had furniture this nice. She's like, no, I never did. I'm like, that's right. But your husband absolutely was convinced that I was never going to amount to anything. Blah, blah, blah. How do you know what your kids are going to amount to? I mean, George Bush Jr. was a complete coke fiend, drug addict, lush, drunk, and he became the president. So if he can, let's say what the fuck your kids do now. They're going through a phase. Listen to your children when they talk. Don't worry about behavior modification unless they're hurting animals or other children or whatever. Then you don't really need to worry about that. Just listen to them, okay? Now, bearing in mind that elan gave me a serious fucking issue with authority, I came down to the fact that I had to break the system. And I don't know that I did this consciously, and I didn't do it alone for sure. Now, I had lots of little friends on the inside there. But they had this whole system. Like I said, you basically had inmates running the prison. And they had this dichotomy, and they had all this system going on where you basically spy on each other and report each other, pull each other up, get each other in trouble, and make you cop to your fucking mistakes, as they call it, copping to your mistakes. Mandy, leave keys alone. Yeah, I got water from here. So they call it copping your mistakes. And basically you'd sit there and be like, yeah, like I totally had lustful thoughts, or, I pilfered a cigarette, or thought about running away. And they call them contracts. Like if you talk to your friend, like let's say your friend Billy Bob, and you and Billy Bob just kind of discuss fantasizing about running away. They call it fantasizing. That was against the rules. And you discussing running away. It's called a split contract. Yeah. So they moved me from elan 3 with all the criminals to elan 5 with the in-between kids. Some were kids and some were not. And elan 5 was farther away. Our house, because it was a big old house, was set farther away. And I got myself into a position of power by just shutting my face hole and yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am kind of shit, and doing what I was told, and looking like I was going to other things and yelling when I wanted to yell and stuff like that. And I became what was called a coordinator. It's pretty much the highest rank you could be. And and myself as a coordinator, and me and the other coordinators, I won't mention their names because I don't want them to get in trouble, but I had a friend that would mail me pot. But, you know, they check your packages and shit, but I'm smarter than they are. So I had pot. She sent me extra cigarettes, stuff like that. And I had her put it in cereal, like inside the cereal, and then just re-glue the fucking cereal bag together, you know? And then re-glue the top back on. And so it looked like it had never been opened. So they would just check that and be like, okay, here's your cereal. And I'd be like, ate the fucking weed in there, 1/4 ounce of weed, shit like that. So, anyhow, so me and my other coordinators basically, and some coordinators in E3 and E8, created a whole entire split contract, and that all of us, I did fuck up this one. I didn't know that that the split bells, you know, the don't open this door or alarm will sound thing, it's a magnetic contact that sets off an alarm, much like a basic security system would have. And I thought it was pressure, and I thought I had to figure it out because you weren't allowed to open the door and set up the alarm. You get in fucking trouble. So I had to figure out how it works except for looking at it. We never had anything like that in our house, you know. So I finally figured out, I thought I figured out that it was pressure. So my bright idea was to slide a piece of, I don't remember what we use now, wood or cardboard or something up against, and then tape it around it so that when we open the door, the bell wouldn't go off. And they would have kids, coordinators, basically work the night shift, watching over the sleeping kids, make sure nobody ran away in the night. And, well, if you put the inmates in charge of the prison, eventually the inmates are going to make a break for it. Now, we are in the middle of fucking Maine. And I mean, in the middle of woods of Maine. There is nowhere to fucking go. But when you have 33 fucking kids, all in positions of power, so to speak, all run away at once in different directions, it's chaos. And so that was really the beginning of the downfall of Elan, because their system was broken. They didn't expect, much like our founding fathers didn't expect when they put the systems of checks and balance in place, that our whole entire government would become corrupt. The people running Elan didn't think that, you know, by putting the inmates in charge of the prison that they would ever fail, because one of them would tell on the others. Well, they were wrong. So one night in, first time I ran away was September. Fuck. I left there. I don't remember now. I want to say it was summertime, or I feel like I should have remembered the date because it was important dates to me. I know I got there June 4th. I got out November 18th. So probably September again. Yeah, I think it was a year from the first time I ran away. And we all, about 2 o'clock in the morning, grabbed our jackets and, you know, a little bit of stuff we wanted to take with us, and we all ran in different directions. Now, I am not saying I'm smarter than other people, but I'm less afraid of the system. What the fuck are they going to do? They're not going to do nothing. So, I ran off in the cornfield because it's a lot of fucking corn, bro. And yeah, there were rumors that they had dogs, but I was covertly looking around that whole property. There were never any fucking dogs. They would have to bring the dogs in. There was no neighboring dogs. You can hear dogs. So with no neighboring dogs and no dogs being brought in, they're not sending dogs to sniff us down and find us, which means the 5 or 10 staff that they have there at any given point in time have to hunt us down. And I'll tell you what happened in my next video, because it gets better.